Good morning, it's Jonathan Barratt with the morning debrief. It's the 1st of December, the first day of summer. And it's soon I look out the window, it's certainly very wet. There's no doubt about it. Lots of rain there across the board, all the way up the east coast of Australia. Okay, well let's see what's occurred. I guess in a nutshell, we've obviously seen the equity markets suffer again last night in the States, only down 22 points. But we did see a build-up in confidence, which was quite good as well. Consumer confidence was certainly a little bit better than expected. Tonight we've also got other bits of data too, and construction spending and vehicle sales, and that also hopefully will give us a bit of a view and provide a little bit of a pickup for the equity markets. But at the moment, I think what's happening in Europe is certainly tarnishing the ability for the US equity markets to move on, and also our own markets to actually move on as well. Okay, let's have a quick overview as to what happened in the US last night, and there we go, grab that over here. Okay, the Dow was down, ended up being down only 9 points. I would actually check that because it was down 22 a little while ago. The S&P was down, let's just refresh that and see what happens. There we go, that's a bit better. The Dow was down 40 points, sorry, at 11,011, that's down 0.37%. The S&P was down 6 and the Nasdaq was down 26. So that seems to be a little bit of just markets obviously just closed. Close to the lower end of the range. The top 50 in Europe was down 18, the FTSE was down 22, the CAC was down 26, and the DAX was down 9. The local market closed down, still quite weak, down 6 at 4,587, obviously breaking through those areas. We still have a hedge on there on our equities, and we've been short them for some time. So I'm still quite happy with that hedge in place. Okay, let's have a quick look at some of the commodities now, and we'll move over to here. There we go. And as we always do, just have a look at, I guess, the dollar index, which is obviously the lead for us in the currency market. Let's look at the currencies first. And there you can see it. The dollar still remains firm. That's a call we have had for some time, and people would be aware that the US dollar would remain relatively well bid. Quite happy with that, and that has been the case. Just looking at the Aussie, little Aussie battler, 95.86 at the moment, and looks quite weak and continuing that trend to the downside. So if anything there, still expect sort of more strength in that US dollar to continue. Remember, we do have GDP in Australia today, and if anything there, that let's see what happens there. But the market is not expected to be as bullish as what we've expected. Looking at just a look at the euro 129.78. And as you can see, look at this chart, it's just one great big long trend. Dollar yen, we are long dollars against the trend, against the yen, sorry about that. But we had that high, obviously, 84.36, but I found a little bit of a base here and expect that to hold. There was one large seller in the market last night. Okay, having a look at some of the commodities now, and crude oil came under quite a lot of attack last night, 83.83, and I think if anything there, as you can see, that's quite a sell-off towards the close. Could be the start. We have broken this little trend here, so we could start to see it trade back in the range, back down to US 80. If you were looking to do anything, the right area obviously is to sell with a stop above that 86 level. Looking at copper steady, very steady actually, 380.6, and copper in itself, obviously because of the supply issues there, has remained relatively resilient to any move either to the top side or to the downside. So I think if anything there, I actually like copper in itself overall, and I think dips are well worth it. But at the moment, just maybe coming back a little bit. Okay, moving on to some of the others. I guess the most important thing here is we look at the SPY. As we know, we are hedged in this market, and there it is there. Probably expect it to continue to head down to the lower end of the range. Let's actually see if we get some lead from Asia. So the Shanghai index was quite weak yesterday. Probably expect the same today if that is the case, and probably see the market probably test back to that lower end, maybe that 4,450 level. Let's see if we get a bounce from that area. So things quite negative there. Okay, everything else relatively stable, but obviously quite volatile. If we have a quick look at what's happening, say, for wheat, at the moment you don't want that contract, you want this one here. Just have a quick look. You'll be able to see that obviously with the big harvest going through at the moment, things are a little bit tough. as to what's happening, but the wheat market, it seems to be holding up. Probably expect a little bit downward pressure on it, but certainly like areas of that as to actually looking and buy. Okay, now in terms of economic calendar, what have we got out today? We've got GDP in Australia, very important. Although extra consensus is up for an increase of 0.5, probably not as aggressive as that. Probably expecting things to be a little bit slower. Year-on-year growth expected to trim back down to about that 3.4, 3.3%, as you can see. In terms of other numbers, retail sales in Germany, and we've got a lot of data, PMI coming out, Purchasing Managers Index data for manufacturing coming out across the board in Europe, so that should be quite interesting. MBA mortgage applications in the States, non-farm productivity, we've got the ISM index in manufacturing prices paid, also construction spending, I think, which will be very important. I would like to see a positive number there. We've got the important Fed's beige book and domestic and total vehicles sales. I think will also give us a clue that what we're seeing in terms of recovery and the momentum for recovery is certainly still there. So if anything there, I think that's certainly something to keep an eye on. Well, that's about it from me. I hope everyone has a great day and stick out of the rain. Could be fun, and happy trading, and let's see what the numbers come up with. Talk to you soon. Bye.